Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Now, before we plunge into today's fascinating topic, just a quick reminder, for more great information like this, please do check out Mind Expansion Daily. You can like and subscribe to us there. And, if you enjoy what we share, maybe consider buying us a coffee. The link is right there in the description below. Okay, so today, September 17, 2025, we're tackling something huge, something that's really impacting all of us. I mean, our phones, they're practically glued to our hands, right? Notifications pinging constantly. Our minds feel, well, more tethered to the digital world than ever. We're just wired for this constant stimulation, and honestly, it's exhausting. So the big question is, what actually happens when you just stop?
Our mission today is to explore the transformative power of complete digital detox. Again, taking a deliberate pause really reset our minds. We're going to unpack this by diving into a really interesting piece, the 24-hour digital detox. It's this captivating personal experiment, but it's also backed by some solid research.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating deep dive because it mixes that lived experience, that personal journey, with some pretty robust studies on mindfulness and, digital disconnection. The author went for a full 24-hour unplug. They expected, I think, to face those usual feelings, the guilt, the FOMO.
Oh, yeah, the FOMO.
Definitely. But the real goal was seeking that sort of unexpected clarity. And the science, it already points towards these kinds of breaks really boosting mental well-being.
And we really need that boost, don't we? I mean, who doesn't feel completely bombarded these days? The numbers are pretty stark when you look at them. That 2025 Nielsen report, it says average screen time is hitting like 7.5 hours a day.
7.5 hours.
It's staggering. That's nearly a third of our waking life glued to a screen. And the human cost is becoming so clear. We're seeing burnout rates climbing up to 60% among young professionals. It just feels like we're all caught in this current pulling us deeper into the digital world.
You've really hit on something crucial there. Our modern mental landscape, it isn't just busy, it's like a perpetual marathon. And it's almost designed to keep us running. Think about social media algorithms, for instance. They're so meticulously engineered to hook us, right? Delivering those little dopamine hits with every scroll, every like.
That instant gratification.
Exactly. It fosters an addiction, not unlike what you see with gambling. And this isn't just, a feeling. A 2025 Pew study found that 28% of adults say they're almost constantly online. And that hyperconnectivity, it correlates directly with 30% higher anxiety levels.
Wow.
And it's not just our personal habits either. Work demands are increasingly blurring those boundaries. With remote work being so common now, those midnight emails, the after-hours pings, they become normal.
Yeah, expected even.
Right. And it leaves very little room for our minds to truly switch off and recharge. There was a 2024 Stanford study that found cognitive fatigue makes our focus drop by 20% after just 4 hours of uninterrupted tasks. It highlights a critical point. Breaks aren't just nice-to-haves. They're fundamental necessities.
So, okay, if our brains are genuinely crying out for a break, what are the underlying mechanisms? Why are these pauses so absolutely vital?
Neuroscience gives us a pretty powerful answer here. During rest, our brains activate something called the default mode network, the DMN.
DMN, okay.
Yeah. And this isn't just idle time. The DMN is crucial for things like self-reflection, imagination, connecting different ideas. Basically, it fosters creativity and problem solving. But when we're constantly feeding information in, that DMN gets suppressed. It doesn't get a chance to work. And a 2025 meta-analysis backs this up, showing that digital detoxes boost overall well-being by, get this, 73%.
73%, that's huge.
It is. And they significantly improve sustained attention, too. Without these crucial pauses, we're not just tired, we risk chronic stress. And that impairs the prefrontal cortex, which is vital for decision-making, and can even raise the risk of depression by 25%. Our brains really are begging for that finish line.
It really sounds like we're fighting our own biology when we skip breaks. But okay, knowing that is one thing. Actually doing it is completely different. From your research, what's maybe the most surprising psychological hurdle people hit when they try to step away?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The hurdles are deeply psychological and societal, too. And yeah, often surprising. First, there's this pervasive feeling of,
Guilt. Guilt for resting.
exactly. Society, especially with this relentless hashtag hustle culture thing,
Yeah.
is trending with like 1.2 million posts on X in 2025. It glorifies constant grinding. It makes rest feel
Lazy.
unproductive. A 2024 Gallup poll found 55% of workers actually feel guilty during breaks. They fear missing out on opportunities or just falling behind.
Yeah, I can see that.
Then there's just sheer overwhelm. When your to-do list is a mile long, The idea of taking a break feels like adding another impossible task.
Right, like I don't have time to not work.
Precisely. And of course, the big one, FOMO, fear of missing out. It's massively amplified by social media feeds, constantly suggesting everyone else is doing amazing things while you're idle. A 2025 study in Curious showed FOMO can spike anxiety by 40% just during detox attempts.
40%. Wow.
And even practical things work against us. Notifications constantly hijack our attention. The average response time, just 6 seconds. It fragments our focus into these tiny, useless 47-second bursts. The author of our source piece even mentioned this initial, almost physical unease when they silence their phone. It mirrors stories you hear from people on Reddit sharing their own 24-hour detox experiences, that restlessness.
It really does feel like a struggle against ourselves, against how society is set up right now. So how do we push past that guilt, that fear of falling behind? It seems like we need a fundamental mindset shift.
Absolutely. Overcoming these hurdles really requires giving ourselves permission to disconnect. It sounds simple, but it's profound. A 2025 Frontiers study suggested reframing breaks. Don't see them as unproductive downtime, but as crucial investments in your well-being.
Investments, I like that.
Yeah, this purposeful disconnection enhances what psychologists call eudaimonic well-being. That's a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose, not just fleeting pleasure. It's about recognizing that stepping away isn't laziness. It's actually a strategic move for long-term health and, maybe paradoxically, greater productivity down the line.
Okay, that reframing is powerful. So if we're ready to make that shift, what are some actual tools, practical things we can use to unplug effectively?
Right, because the how is critical. Effective unplugging needs specific tools and techniques you can actively use. Mindfulness is a cornerstone. Just focusing on the present moment helps counter those racing thoughts, that urge to check the phone.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, for sure. But even small practices help, like breath work. The 4-7-8 technique is great. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It's simple, but it activates your parasympathetic system, reducing stress by about 30% in minutes, according to Mayo Clinic guidelines.
Okay, 478. Got it.
Connecting with nature is also incredibly powerful. Even a short walk where you consciously engage your senses, notice your feet, listen to the birds, it really restores attention. A 2024 Harvard study showed nature boosts mood by 20%.
Just getting outside helps.
Absolutely. And for a digital detox specifically, you need some concrete actions. Block those distracting apps, set clear boundaries, tell people you're unavailable. The author of our source piece meticulously planned analog activities, journaling, reading a physical book, replacing screen time with presence. And a key tip, often mentioned in challenges like the offline clubs, is to embrace boredom.
Embrace boredom. That sounds hard.
It can be, but inform your contacts, prepare for genuine emergencies, and then just let your mind wander. Boredom, counterintuitively, is often the seed of creativity. It forces your mind off autopilot.
Okay, that's a solid playbook. So let's look at that real-world example. The person in our source who did the full 24-hour break, 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. Can we walk through some of the key moments, the shifts they felt? So those first few hours, say 8 p.m. to maybe 2 a.m., they switch everything off. And there's this immediate relief, right?
Yeah, but followed quickly by what they called itchiness, that craving for the scroll, the information hit. So they journaled their worries. That's a classic mindfulness technique. Acknowledge and release. Use breath work to ease the tension. And they reported sleeping much better.
Which makes sense. That aligns with what NPR found in 2025, about 15% better rest post-detox, partly just from ditching the blue light before bed.
Exactly. Then waking up naturally, no alarm buzz, let's say the morning hours, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. That was a big shift. They described this profound quiet, like the volume on the world turned down, but nature sound seemed amplified, senses felt sharper.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's common when the brain isn't filtering constant digital noise. Now, this is where FOMO really peaked, imagining missed posts, upvotes. But interestingly, it didn't stick around. They noticed it, acknowledged it, and then through things like a silent walk and gratitude journaling, which studies show boosts well-being by 25%, that anxiety just faded. It turned into calm.
So it wasn't about distraction, but active re-engagement.
Precisely. Re-engaging with their immediate world, their inner thoughts.
And then moving into the afternoon and evening, say 2 p.m. to the 8 p.m. reconnect time.
The focus shift was apparently remarkable. Reading a book, something that often feels fragmented, now became this deeply immersive, uninterrupted experience.
Yeah, I miss that feeling.
Right. They noted their focus sharpened considerably. That's a direct result of sustained attention, no digital pings breaking it. And afternoon meditation wasn't just relaxing. It apparently sparked new insights on priorities, a clarity that just worked there when the mind was constantly busy. And when they finally reconnected at 8 p.m., it wasn't like this frantic dive back in. It felt intentional, controlled, like dipping a toe back in, not being swept away.
And the overall anxiety.
It dipped by 20%, directly mirroring what those curious studies found with digital detoxes.
Wow. Okay, so after this full 24 hours of intentional disconnection, what were the real tangible benefits? And crucially, what does this mean for you listening right now? It sounds like it went way beyond just feeling a bit refreshed.
Oh, absolutely. The effects were undeniable, and they really offer a blueprint for what you might expect.
Hmm.
Post-challenge, there was this surge of clarity. Problems they'd been wrestling with seemed to resolve with fresh perspective. And that's not magic, right?
Right.
It's because breaks let that default mode network, the DMN we talked about, engage and generate insight. Research confirms this. Creativity also bloomed. Ideas flowed more freely. It shows how embracing that initial boredom really can spark innovation.
That's encouraging.
And relationships deepened.
Mm.
Face-to-face conversations felt richer, more present. This actually led to a reported 15% reduction in feelings of loneliness.
Just from being more present.
Exactly. And overall well-being. Stress plummeted. Mood lifted significantly by 71%, which, again, lines up perfectly with that NPR detox data. And get this. For the person of the source material, productivity after the break actually went up by 22%.
Up after taking time off.
Yep. It confirms that these pauses aren't just about feeling good. They're about working smarter and living more purposefully in the long run.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How silence, something we often try to fill, can actually be so generative. A fertile ground for growth, creativity, real connection. This deep dive has really shown us that in this, 2025 digital flood we're all in, prioritizing a pause isn't a luxury. It's a truly powerful tool for clarity, for creativity, for connection. Your mind really deserves that gift of stillness.
And maybe think about this. How much of your daily busyness actually aligns with what you truly value? What kind of magic might emerge if you just intentionally, step away from all the noise? It might just be the most productive, the most fulfilling thing you do all week.
We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you agree, disagree with our summary? Leave us a comment below. And hey, tell us where in the world you're listening from. We're really on a mission to expand our reach worldwide, so it's great to hear from you. And don't forget, visit Mind Expansion Daily for more incredible insights. Please like and subscribe while you're there. And if you found value in today's deep dive, you can always buy us a coffee using that link in the description. Your support genuinely helps us keep these deep dives coming. Until next time, keep exploring.